Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Intentionally Nourishing. This is Kristen. And today I'm going to just kind of give you a little bit of my journey. Actually, I'll probably break it up into several days over this week, just not to overwhelm anyone. And knowing that my story stems back from multiple years of just trying to figure out what was going on with me. And it was several steps of healing. And so as I share and as I share ideas and tips and different things, I don't want anyone to feel like you have to change your whole life overnight because it's just not even possible. And you'll beat yourself up trying. So, kind of to model that, I will break up my story over a couple of days, just talking about things that I made changes in my life that really just boosted my health and my energy and my relationships. Because when you don't feel good, it's hard to have healthy relationships with people because I wasn't very nice. So, go back 10 years. And I was, 24, 25 years old, and I started having a series of symptoms. I'd had migraines for, earlier than that, but I started getting migraines like 3 times a week. My blood sugar was swinging. I could just feel it dropping and getting too high. And I'd had a series of tests by doctors, and they didn't think I had diabetes or anything like that, but I just could feel my energy level just plummeting at different points. I developed severe acne, which for any of you that have struggled with that, it is such an awful thing to experience. It is not only painful, but you can't walk around with a bag over your head. There's a lot of things that you can do to cover up other areas of the body and things, but your face is just out there. And as a teacher, I was always up on stage, and that was really difficult. So, and then the other thing I started experiencing, I was a high school tennis coach for 4 years, and I noticed that in just colder temperatures, my hands and my feet would just go numb. They would change colors, just tons of pain experienced with that. And so, again, I just had a variety of symptoms that to me at the time did not seem related. And I did go to doctors for each and every one of those things separately. And I kept going back to hearing that I fell in a normal range, that they couldn't figure out anything wrong. So instead of, getting to the root of the issue, I was prescribed a variety of medications and creams. So prescription for my migraines, antibiotics for the acne, extreme facial creams for my acne. At one point, somebody told me that I had to, show that I was on 2 forms of birth control because this cream would cause a male fetus to be a hermaphrodite because it attacked testosterone. That is scary. And, diet changes, just different things like that. Not the diet changes that I'm going to talk about later, but some other diet changes. And I tried all those things and none of it worked. It just seemed like I was just getting worse. I started to see an esthetician, probably spent thousands of dollars on acne products, of which did not help. And I kept hearing your face and your skin does not seem like the type of skin we typically see with people with severe acne. So we're not sure what's going on. Let's just keep trying more things topically. And also at that point, and this goes back years before too, and I know a lot of women struggle with this, but food was my enemy and exercise was my enemy, and my job each day was to master those. And so, I would equate my self-worth, whether I felt like I ate well, did I eat the right amount, did I not eat too much, I might eat something sugar-free or fat-free, but then, eat the entire carton of sugar-free ice cream and then feel so guilty. I'm sure some of you are laughing right now because you've done that. And also, just with exercise, if I did not exercise every single day, I just felt awful about myself. And so I just was, not only experiencing all these symptoms, but just in this yo yo of just eating poorly or, eating how I thought I should be eating, which was low fat, low sugar, sugar free, those kinds of things. But it was not satisfying. And then just trying to exercise all the time and then rewarding myself with food, after I'd exercise, which was another downfall. So that continued for several years. Then I hit 28. I'm married. It should be like the best year of my life, and my symptoms just got worse. I started getting severe brain fog to the point where I could not read a book. I could not remember anything I was reading, so it was so frustrating that I just stopped reading. I started becoming depressed a little bit, just feeling down. And I'm thinking, why am I down? Like this is an amazing year. We were also living in Australia at the time for my husband's job. Like, I did not have anything to feel bad about, and I did not feel happy. I had extreme tiredness. I would want to go to bed at like 7. Our date nights were awful because, at the end of a long week, we try to go on a date night, and I am like Miss Grumpy Pants, and all I want to do is go to bed. So, again, you can see how that impacts relationships. And I noticed that my digestion, I just didn't seem to be digesting food well, was not feeling good. And I noticed that I was having trouble swallowing after eating certain meals. Just my throat felt tight. So, thankfully, in my life, I had a chiropractor and nutritional therapist who was also a good friend of ours. And I started to see him and kind of discuss these things that were going on. And he helped me immediately to put it all together. And so basically, what I was dealing with was a leaky gut, which, if you're unfamiliar with leaky gut, it is where you have an imbalance of bad bacteria. Our guts are full of millions and billions of bacteria that help us with digestion and bodily functions. But depending on things, like for me, my antibiotic use, probably my time spent in Africa, maybe for the 5 months during a semester abroad. And I also had some heavy metals in my system, some mercury fillings, and just other metals that my body was not processing well. And so, yeah, all of that to say, there were just, some things going on that were really interfering with my digestion and allowing the bad bacteria to grow more than the good bacteria. And then what happens is they eat away little holes in your intestines. I know this sounds really gross, but that allows undigested food to go into your bloodstream. And then from there, your body starts to attack it because it sees it as a foreign invader, because it's such a large particle compared to the small nutritional particles that your cells can absorb. So, a blood test confirmed that my body was responding to over 30 foods. And then also some muscle testing, which just shows what organs in your body are stressed and what foods or metals or environmental agents they are responding negatively to. And so, and then also I was diagnosed with 3 autoimmune diseases. So Raynaud's disease, which is why I had just crazy numbness, color changes in my hands and feet. Hashimoto's, which is a low thyroid disease. Your body's actually killing off your own thyroid. And that was, contributing to probably my poor digestion and also my extreme tiredness. And then celiac. So that explained why my throat was tight, and also why I had migraines. And it ended up being the case for my acne. As soon as I took gluten out of my diet, my life dramatically changed. My acne cleared up, my migraines went away, and the tightness in my throat also went away. So I was feeling pretty good at that point. I had some ideas of, things to do. But then after a couple of months, my health just kind of plateaued. So I had better energy, my skin was clear. But now that I knew what it felt like to feel a little bit better, I realized I still wasn't feeling 100%. So instead of avoiding those foods for the rest of my life, I started learning about ways that you could heal your gut, that digestional, that lining, and also seal it so that I could eat, the majority of those foods again. So when I did all my research, I kind of came down to 2 diets, and some of you may have heard of those. I know one of my friends, Becky, she's going to start the GAPS diet soon, but the other one is so there's the GAPS diet and the specific carbohydrate diet. Both of those aim to basically starve bad bacteria to death. And you do that by not consuming sugars, starches, or grains. And when I mean sugars, I don't mean fruit or honey, because those are single sugar molecules. So bacteria won't break those down. Sugars, I mean disaccharides or polysaccharides. So a disaccharide is just multiple sugar units connected together. So table sugar, maple syrup, coconut sugar, any of those kinds. Lactose, which is a milk sugar. And then starches is also just a clump of sugars. It's a polysaccharide. And so bacteria love that because they get lots of food by breaking down those starchy molecules. So potatoes, rice, flour, any of those kinds of things. So I was on that diet for a year and a half. And I think the biggest thing I came away with, other than obviously feeling way better and healing my gut, was that food is not the enemy. Food is an amazing healer. And my relationship with food because of this diet, even though it was extremely hard, has changed so much, and it has been so freeing to know that I should just eat whole, real food. So I had to, for this diet, I had to make everything from scratch because you can't find chocolate without sugar. You can't find, yogurt that has no lactose in it, that also has no sugar in it. There were just so many things I had to learn to make. So I made all our own sauces, and I made pizza crust from seeds and nuts. And, some things were yummy, and probably some things my husband would tell you were not so yummy. But needless to say, it was a great experience. And my big motivation, other than feeling better, was that I was told, at my lowest point, that I should not try to conceive or for us to try for a family because my digestion was so poor. And, unhealthy people have kids all the time. But, did I want to take that risk of trying to conceive when I wasn't getting the nutrients that my body needed? So, yeah. And I was on that diet for a year and a half. I only cheated once. We were in Tillamook and I got Tillamook ice cream and it was delicious. But other than that, I stuck to that diet and I got amazing results. I will talk a little bit about tomorrow, about the last step in that journey that I had to take to really heal that digestion. And that had to do with getting rid of the heavy metals in my system. But today I just want to leave you with the digestional part and the nutritional part. Just to kind of, again, give you an idea before, we head somewhere. I want you to know where I've been. And the other thing I just wanted to share today was every Friday, I'm planning on just sharing a recipe that our family loves that has whole food ingredients in it. And so on Mondays, I'm planning on giving you the ingredients for things that you might need. If I also ever share any DIY recipes, I'll be sure to give you plenty of notice to find those things on Amazon or Whole Foods, Natural Grocers, or some other grocery store, depending on what the item is, so that if you wanted to make those things along with me, you can. And the teacher in me wants to have some structure to this. So I think my plan will be to share on one topic per week and just post multiple videos on that topic. And then you guys can kind of share, your experience or your thoughts and that kind of thing. And then instead of a quiz on Friday, you'll get a yummy recipe. So I think that's a good deal. So anyways, sorry this post was long. They will not be this long. But again, I just wanted you to know where I've been before you feel comfortable learning with me and knowing where we're headed. So I hope you all have a wonderful Monday. And thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.